This is Randolph David.
He just kind of walked away from his house, never to be seen again.
He was 66 when he vanished from his home on West 117th Street in Cleveland. Imagine, he'd be 69 years old today. No phone, no car, just gone. Detective Callahan has seen a lot in his years with the Cleveland Police Department, but even he's stumped by this case. Randolph suffered from mental illness, and his family was his lifeline.
They control his Social Security benefits, so they were giving him a weekly allowance.
Something just doesn't add up, and police need your help to put two and two together.
And if somebody might know him from back in 2021, from walking in the neighborhood or maybe going to the local stores or something to that effect, is really what I'm looking for.
At the time of his disappearance in September of 2021, Randolph weighed about 140 pounds and had gray hair and brown eyes. Take a long, hard look. Do you recognize him? Any memory, any sighting, no matter how small, could help bring him home. If you know anything, do the right thing. Pick up the phone, call the Cleveland Police Department. That phone number 216-623-5262. You can also remain anonymous and possibly claim a reward by calling Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. For Cleveland 19 News, I'm Gabby Hart, and this is The Missing.